Welcome back. The debate on the place of cell phones in our schools and the lives of our children is essential. However, it has a big blind spot that we too often ignore. And to help us out, make some sense of all of this, is Dr. Victoria Talwar, Canada Research Chair in the Department of Educational and Counseling Psychology at McGill University. Dr. Talwar, thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for having me here.
So, first of all, can you give us a sense of where the research, the data is on the impact that cell phone, smartphone use, screen time has in our children's mental health? There's a lot of talk recently. You have big name researchers like Jonathan Haidt that have New York Times bestsellers about this and talking about how, this is creating, quote unquote, the anxious generation. And there's direct links between social media, cell phones, and our children's mental health. Where is the research on this? Where's the data?
Yeah, there's been a lot of research in recent years that has really showed that it really does have a negative impact on our mental health, on our youth's mental health. There's using these social media has a really increase and is related to increases in mental health issues in youth, like depression and anxiety. And so there are genuine concerns. And, for any adults, when we look at the social media, we can see how it can affect us sometimes negatively. Sometimes we get off them and we feel unhappy, dissatisfied. Mm-hmm. You can have that. And if you're sort of, we're basically ingesting that continuously, it can, for some people, really have a negative impact on their mood.
And so we're starting to see some moves, like here in Quebec, for example, the whole debate around cell phones in schools and talking about beyond Quebec, Canada and the U.S., there's a debate about age gating for social media access. Mm-hmm. Of course, how that would work is a whole other kettle of fish, of course. But for you, what are the key solutions here? Is it more regulations? Is it really a more forceful approach in our schools? What's the key solution here?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. I do think that we need some regulation to control this, mm-hmm. Including, not having the phones in the school because they can be major distractors, mm-hmm. Or having at least some control on how those phones are in the schools. We need to have greater controls, both on social media. So that means, that there also are, we have to... the social media giants also need to take some responsibility mm-hmm. here. We need governments to sort of create in the schools and sort of guidelines and policies. And then we also have sort of more individual and sort of more collective societal changes that we need to sort of start taking aware. And part of that's just awareness. These, for instance, smartphones, they've been around now for a little while. When we first got them, when they first kind of appeared, they were really cool, neat things. And we sort of embraced the technology before we really had any sense of the evidence of how they impacted us. And now we see that. And so now we need to start to develop things, sort of more mindful habits about how we, use these smartphones. The genie's out of the bottle. We're not getting rid of our smartphones. Of course. But we just need to start thinking a little bit more about how we use the smartphones, and how we our habits around that, as well as how we then model it to our children.
One element that you're putting forward is the fact that we have to look at adults and parents specifically. Our own behavior has a direct impact on our children's behavior in this case, right?
Yeah, that's something we really need to think about for us who are our parents, especially with the younger children or youth. We're actually modeling how we use these smartphones to them. Now, certainly they're getting influences by other means as well, especially as they get into the teenage years. But we are a significant model in their life and, significantly influence them. And so So we also have to sort of model those healthy habits around using these screens. But also, one thing that it can do is we go down the rabbit hole too with them, and we can get distracted from engaging with them at moments that are important to be engaging with them, or to be available, or to be giving them attention. And that can be, a problem with especially younger children who they need a lot of sort of face-to-face, in-person interaction to learn about the world around them. And so they need periods of time where their parents are there, available to them, and interacting with them in the world around them. And even there's other times where you just, there was some research showed that, when at the playgrounds, parents sometimes, you can get lost in your phone. I remember that happening to me, and then suddenly realizing, I need to put this away, because often there's actually research showed that there was an increase in children having injuries because, their parent was looking on the phone, and they would miss the child sort of like going headfirst, down the slide, or, trying to do a pirouette on the swing or something. So there's that, with young children, there's the physical monitoring that sometimes needs to be done, and the phones can distract us. But also, more importantly, because they need that interaction to learn about the world around them, and sort of that guided interaction about of the world, they need periods of time where they have our attention. It doesn't mean that we can't use our phones with our children around, but there may be times where we need to say, okay, here I'm with my child, I'm engaging with my child, I'm doing something. I need to put my phone away for a period of time, because distracted parenting can kind of interfere with the quality of our relationship and the quality of that interaction we're having with our children.
How would you rank this as a key component? The way you're talking about this, it makes sense. It's about being present when we're with our children. So I would say it goes beyond even phones. It's about good parenting, period, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's become something, though, that we didn't, like previous generations didn't have to think about the phone distracting them, right? So we're just becoming aware that the phone has become an added distraction in our environment, and it so easily sucks us in, right? Oh, well, what is this text messages? Oh, what is she saying? Oh, I need to respond to that. And sometimes we have to realize that a lot of things don't need immediate response. There's very few things that actually demand immediate response at the time. If you're that's your time with your child, then presumably that's not your work time. So then, it can wait, kind of thing. And so realizing and developing really mindful habits, because it is about good parenting, as we say. We need to be present and have quality time with our children. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to be, with them, hovering over them 24 hours 7. They don't need that either, but they do need some quality time with us. That being said, I always kind of get worried when we talk about good parenting that there's some parent out there who's now feeling shame and feeling really upset and guilty about their phone use. And that's not helpful for the parent. That what you need to realize, I've been in this situation, I'm a parent too, is that you say, oh, wait, I've been on my phone right now. Okay, I've become aware of it. Now I'm putting my phone away. And I actually do, people know this about me. There's periods of time where a friend texts me. They know they're not going to hear from me because I put my phone in my drawer so that it can't buzz me. It can't, I can't see the screen light up, and I'm attending to the people that I'm with in person right now. And it's just developing little things and realizing that, having compassion for yourself. If you fall off the wagon, you can get back on.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate your insights, Doctor.
It'll be my pleasure. Thank you.
Dr. Victoria Talwar, Canada Research Chair in the Department of Educational and Counseling Psychology at McGill University.